Alright, Path of Exile players, let's lock it in. Brand new character, the Huntress. Let's go ahead and do a new player's walkthrough, beginner's guide. Let's get started, man. So first off, we're going to be making the new class, which is going to be the Huntress. And you could play on Standard, or you can play on Dawn of the New Hunt with the brand new class. It's up to you. I'm going to actually be making a character on both, and we'll talk more about that later. But if it's your first time, I recommend Dawn of the Hunt. Hoping that the Standard right now has a little bit more stability with the server issues. The game is having a lot of crashing right now, but it's just the nature of games day one. But anyways, we're going to use this as a newer player's guide. So what I recommend you guys to do if you're kind of watching this for the first time, put this on another monitor, kind of play side by side. This game, you need someone to hold your hand if it's your first time. Otherwise, the game is quite challenging. So for starters, I'm going to go ahead and mention everything that you would want to know at the start. So for example, if you want to use WASD, feel free to go ahead and use it. In the very beginning, we're going to go to options though. This is very important. Set your keybinds for whatever that you personally like. Everyone likes different keybinds, right? I use, like, for example, I use Q to move. You want to make sure that the settings are whatever that you prefer. But one thing that's important that everyone will probably prefer is under the options. So hit escape, go to interface, go down where it says map. You want landscape transparency. Turn this all the way off. I promise you this will solve a lot of issues with being able to see. It's a lot of clutter that is unnecessary. Kind of mimics the terrain, but you don't need it because this is way better. Another thing, map zoom. Zoom all the way out. This way you can see more of the map. But if you want to zoom in a little bit, that's fine. But this is like what 99% of players enjoy. They turn these two things off. It should be done by default, to be honest, but change any other settings if you want your screen to not shake or any of these things, kind of like, you know, the normal things. Another thing in the very beginning right now is that you do not want the NVIDIA Reflex to, right now, there's like a bug with it. Again, we may get some crashes just as a heads up. If it crashes, I'm just going to mention that, well, it happens. It's week one, day one right now, and these things are very normal. So anyways, let's go ahead and now continue. So we're going to talk to this guy. We're going to skip all the dialogue for the beginner's guide. However, if you want to listen to it, feel free to go and do so. So in the very beginning, we're going to get a spear. It's automatically going to equip it for us. The spear actually has a left click and a right click. The right click is ranged. I recommend playing Path of Exile ranged. These are our potions. They refill, not over time, but they refill if we eliminate the monsters. There's other ways to recover it, but for the most part right now, we want to kill every single monster that we see up until level 2. It'll make the boss fight a little bit easier because we can get a skill point. This is our XP bar. When it goes all the way up, we level up and we get a skill point. Now in Path of Exile, these skills aren't actually obtained via like our skill tree. Our skills are actually obtained through these little gems, which we'll get in a second. There's always going to be a chest you're forced to actually engage with the mechanic, but I'll teach you guys everything. Alright, so let's go ahead and attack and keep it going. And Path of Exile is a very hard game. If you die, don't worry, I probably will rip maybe at some point in the playthrough. This is a new class, even though this character is brand new and this is all a whole brand new blind experience for me. I know the game very well already, as I play a lot of Path of Exile, but we're going to have to actually use the skill. So we actually have to put the skill in our bar. So when we hit I as an ice cream, it'll open up this menu, or you can left click here, or you can right click, and what's going to do is open up this menu. This is kind of like our skills that we have access to right now. We have spear throw, we have this little parry, which can actually ready up our buckler, which is something that we'll just get. It's just kind of like the spear. It automatically equips it for us once we get it to drop. And then what we're going to be able to do is the targets take 50% more attack damage after we do that debuff. So it says it cannot be evaded. It says 2 to 4 added physical damage per 5 evasion rating on buckler, and it says can parry projectiles fired from within 1 meter. So it's like our little block, and here's what this looks like. See our character? Blocking. And you can also move and block at the same time. See how our character moves? You move slower though, there's that movement speed penalty. Anyways, this new skill gem that we get that drops, if you're wondering like why can't we progress into the next area, there's a wall, we have to actually use the skill. So we're gonna left click or right click after we open up our inventory, I as an ice cream, and then we drag it over here, and then now we have access to this new ability. This new ability, what it does is it's going to blind the enemies, which will make them less accurate so we don't get hit as often. And after we activate the skill one time, it'll make the thing go away. If we leave the area, it will knock back the enemies. That's what this skill does. It actually doesn't do very good DPS, and it does cost mana. Most of the skills in this game will cost mana. So we're going to go ahead and activate it, and you see once we leave, it does a little pop. So what we want to try to do is level up. And normally people would do this, they would just spam this, but actually it has pretty low DPS. Well, this skill does. And if we're low on mana, we hit 2 for our mana potion. But what it does is, again, it provides us with a debuff on the character, and then I can just attack the enemies. Your normal attacks, by the way, in PoE 2 actually do pretty good damage. It's not like, you know, in Diablo, there's like the basic skill. You can actually make your normal attack, I'm not even kidding, it actually has a pretty high base for single target. Now, for multi-target, I'll be honest, there's probably better options. Most of the time, people will choose a skill because there's a lot more bonuses, but it's not like absolutely useless. Like, again, the basic skills in Diablo, if you're coming from like a Diablo background. But yeah, my plan is to at least do the first 30 minutes for our first play session. Then I'm going to make some of these a lot longer. Hopefully, again, the servers will be relatively stable, because when the game crashes, it kind of messes up the recordings. But what we want to try to do is hit level 2 before we advance to the next area. Cool, we hit level 2. And that is great, because now we get to put in a skill point. Oh, by the way, the game doesn't pause for you when you do a lot of these things, so just be on the lookout. So we can get increased damage or evasion rating. Evasion is basically our chance to just not get hit. And on top of that, there are other things we can scale damage with evasion rating if we wanted to do so. But in the very beginning, I'm going to recommend you guys to kind of copy the build almost exactly, because if you stray too far away, you could run into a situation where your build is kind of bricked. And what I mean by that is you don't have the ability to respec, because it's going to cost gold. Anyways, I'm going to get this increased attack damage. We're just going to go for damage here, and then attack speed. We're going to get a lot of attack speed in the very beginning, because it makes the game feel more responsive, and it actually will help you kill targets, because more damage is great. But also, if you get kind of hit stunned in this game, you can get like hit stunned really bad where you're not even able to attack. If you sit from range, it's okay, but if you want to play this melee, you can get hit stunned pretty bad in Path of Exile 2. It's kind of like Diablo 1 if you play Diablo 1. Fast hit recovery, pretty good thing in Diablo 1. But now that we're level 2, we're going to be looking for the boss. Once you're at the second checkpoint, by the way, checkpoints let you reset, so if I die here, I'll respawn here. It'll also refill our flasks, which is great. We're coming up to the first boss. This boss is quite challenging. When you hear these large thud sounds, you want to roll out of the way. He will hit for lots and lots of damage. When you hear any like the big bass sounds, it will do lots and lots of damage. It's telling us to press spacebar to dodge the attack. By the way, space is to dodge. It's like your little evade. It has no cooldown. It has no cost. But obviously, when you're doing it, you're not doing damage. If we build up the stagger bar, he will be staggered, and you will see the little bar build up below his HP. Now, you only need to kill Hillock. You don't have to kill the smaller monsters. You can see how much damage the slam does do if you get hit by it. Yeah, you'll find out very soon that this game is very punishing. But we're going to go ahead and just sit at range and just kind of attack, move, attack, move, attack, move. If you hear any of like the large bass sounds, move out of the way. The Path of Exile is a very, very, very hard game. So again, if you die during him, it's fine. You just have to go again, man. Sometimes it's the trial by fire with this game, I'll be honest. And try to keep your HP always super high when you fight a lot of the bosses. Well, especially super early on. The reason why is you tend to get one shot quite often if it's a boss slam attack. Like, these are things where you just have to not take the damage. A lot of times for the very first time on the bosses, if it's a new class and you're unfamiliar with what is the OP thing to basically kill the boss before the mechanics work, then you may rip. And it's totally fine. It's not a big deal. Now we got a bunch of stuff. We got a Scroll of Wisdom. Now we have a bunch of items. Now, unlike Diablo 1, you cannot equip unidentified items, but we're going to go ahead and identify. So you'll have some of these Scrolls of Wisdom as you progress. We want to right-click on the Scroll of Wisdom and then left-click on a unidentified item, and then it will identify it. So we want to usually stack evasion rating because we're going to have evasion rating %, but since this is just, it gives us 6 fire res, we're going to go ahead and take that. It also gives us a hidden negative. Oh gosh, it's crashed. Okay, this is going to be very normal. Let's reset the game. It's just day 1. All right, so that error that I just got I've actually figured out I can fix it by changing locations. Now, is this a good idea? No, because high ping in this game where you have to dodge attacks is terrible. But if I load into a different area, and you may have the problem as well, we're going to go ahead and go back in, and our character, fingers crossed that this will work, because again, day one, week, I'll honestly say for the first week, this game's kind of rough. Anyways, so after we kill that Hillock boss, we're going to go basically from here. This is exactly where we just defeated the boss. You basically just click over here and it loads in, but our game just crashed, okay? Nothing I can really do about that, but we're going to have higher ping now until we get to the next zone to reload in because there's an item or something that's in that instance. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and click on the NPC. He's going to give us a skill gem, and we're going to use this to actually get we're going to get another quest from him as well. But we're going to get this uncut skill gem. What we're going to do with this is we're going to right click on it and we're going to get a brand new skill. So choose the skill that you want. You can see that if you block, you can get like another attack. We already have Whirling Slash, so we don't need to get that one again. So this would blind the enemies.
It will create more twisters with more damage.
So I can now have a combo base.
Also suck up patches of elemental ground
that's
take
cool.
on their effects, or be used with elemental whirlwinds that have sucked up elements.
Ah, cool. And then we also have Explosive Spear.
Stick into the ground
So this converts our damage to fire, and it pierces all targets, and then it's going to pop. Okay. So which skill do we want? Oh, we got to go with that Twister, man. And I'll try out all the skills, and you guys can decide which one you like. But I'm going to go ahead and, again, put this over here, and then I'm going to put this Twister over here. I'm going to use this as our main, DPS skill. Now, in the very beginning, start trying to pick up all the items. This one, it could have, another modifier. We could just identify it to do it, as it will be better than this one. But all these items in the very beginning will sell for almost no gold. And we're just going to accept all the quests. Then we're going to go and sell some items. So the items that we don't want, we're just going to sell them for gold. Later, you may want to trade these with players, but you can see some of these items will cost thousands of gold. And don't worry too much about gold. To be honest, it's not like people really trade for gold. Because you can only spend it at vendors. But there is technically a way to kind of get gold, but we don't need to talk about it right now. If you accidentally sell something, though, you can buy it back. The most important thing to mention is, right now, I wanted to make a standard character to hope the server was lovely. Like I said, games day one, welcome. It's going to happen, man. Okay, now we're loaded back in. So let's go and leave the area, and then I want to show you guys something that's very important. But talk to the NPCs to get the quests, and then sell all the stuff that you don't plan to use or that you can't equip. Now, one really helpful tool that we're going to be using, I will also link this, is PoE2axe.com. And what this will let you do is it'll let you know kind of what you need to do. There's also a well in town that you can click on, but I just want to get out of town because that thing might crash the game again. What we need to do is we already killed Hillock. That's the very first boss that he has the big slam attack. We've already killed him, so I'm going to check that. The next thing is to enter Clearfell, which is from the town. We just leave over here. We've already done that. Now our next objective is to kill Beira, which is going to give us permanently 10% cold res. And this is kind of like a walkthrough guide, and these will help out because some quests you don't really need to do in the game. Other quests you definitely want to do. But at a checkpoint, we can refill our HP over here. But now we have a new skill to play around with, so it's going to be awesome. Also, tab will make the map go kind of in front of you. It's kind of nice to use. Some people like to keep it up the whole time. But we're just going to go kill these rotten wolves. And one thing that's important with PoE is that you don't really want to get surrounded by the enemies, just like in Diablo 1. But this skill, I mean, it does okay damage, but it's not something super insane. Later we'll get some more skills, but again, trying to get surrounded. Your basic throw actually is really powerful in this game, which is awesome. So feel free to use that. Getting a nice little checkpoint over here because we're going to come up to another elite boss, and it'll be kind of challenging. We're just going to go eliminate these. We got another uncut skill gem. Cool. So what we can do is we can get Explosive Spear now, and we can combo with it. So again, left click, and then we're going to go ahead and put it in our skill bar. And then what we're going to do, I'm not going to use the parry pretty much at all. If you want to use it, go for it. But I just feel like I like the smoother play style of not waiting for enemies to attack. So if we throw this down, and then we throw twisters in the fire, it should. Oh, it needs to actually. Oh, you need that. You need the bonus. Okay. So it needs to permanently ignite the ground over here. Okay, cool. We got some items to grab. But so we're just attacking, moving back. I'm gonna go pick up all these items, and let's see if there's any upgrades here. So we have armor and energy shield. Now, what should we be scaling in this build? It's pretty much going to be evasion, because we get these little percent like evasion nodes, and if we get armor, it's still not like not usable. Armor is still like okay to get, but ideally we want to scale evasion with this sort of build. Evasion is just a chance to take no damage. Scroll of wisdom. Pick up all the scrolls of wisdoms that you see on the ground. And then you see Beira over here. And this is actually kind of a tougher fight because she does cold. And getting frozen in any action RPG is bad. Anything that's like on the ground and you don't really want to take damage with it. So our next goal is to eliminate Beira, which will be really close by. But don't feel like you have to kill every single white enemy. I just want to try to get to level 3 before fighting this character if possible, because I can get some more extra damage, but... And we can use our new skill too. It kind of throws it on the ground, then it'll kind of explode. It's basically like a frost bomb. It does like probably pretty good damage. And you can start getting a big chunk of monsters if you want to, like, and kind of run a train. If you guys have ever played like any MMOs, you know, you get to group up all the enemies. Go try to get more, because like if you're just fighting one white monster at a time, it's kind of not efficient. Or if you can group them all, it's a little bit more dangerous to do this, but it's more efficient. Go, and she should be very, very close by. It should be like right around here. So you can also throw this down, and then you can kind of walk. Boom. That's exactly like Frostbomb. Kind of a cool skill to mess around with. But remember, if I open up this... Oh, you know what? The game does pause. Okay. So, there is also a way to pause, and you can read like the top. But we're going to get more damage, and then we want all this attack speed because it makes the game feel a lot better. Because in this game you can get interrupted. Let's see what's over here. I know it's like really close by. Okay, cool. We got the waypoint here. Now, you don't really need to get all of the waypoints in this game. There are certain ones that you may want to go back for. Yeah, we're looking for it at Beira. But again, see how there's a lot of monsters? If I was playing melee, this would be just absolute death here. I also just use the tornadoes here. Do a little whirlwind. Like, you can start comboing the stuff if you want to. And see, we can set that enemy on fire. But I usually like to play with like a one-button build, as in like it's kind of more in the lazy play style. But yeah. Oh, here it is. So you'll see that the ice. So she was over here. So I want to kill all of these before taking her on because yeah, she's not easy. Ooh, this is cool. So what this will do is we'll augment a magic item with an... Oh, let's fight her first and we'll explain this. So, because she's not going to let me sit here and read. So, again, we're going to go ahead and activate a blind on her. But yeah, you don't want to get frozen. By the way, you can only have one of these at a time. These little, like, spears that are like these fire spears. She's very, very challenging, though. I don't want to stand on those runes, as that would be death. Throw that down. I'm trying to throw one of those all the time on the ground. Make sure we don't stand on the runes. All the bosses, I'll be honest, are super, super challenging in the earlier stages, but then later on, it doesn't really matter as much. Like, you start getting way more powerful. So the hardest part of Path of Exile 2 is honestly just the beginning of the game. Like, a lot of times we'll be making it by, like, the skin of our teeth. barely making it. Okay, so this is very important. We gain 10% cold resistance. And again, if you want to use this website, it really helps out. So now we got this. Then it wants us to get the waypoint, and it says Grim Tangle. Okay, so that's what we're going to go do. We're going to pick up all the items, and if we get some of these items, we will actually use them. Now, if you want to use them, it's up to you. Now, this one over here is already going to be a magic. So what this will do is, see how it's a white item? A white item won't have any modifiers. A blue item can have up to 2 modifiers, and then rares can go and get more and more, and you can get basically what's called 3 prefixes and 3 suffixes. So what we're going to do is we are going to identify the item. Hopefully it has some extra damage. Oh, we lucked out. It got plus fire damage. So I'm just going to keep this. Now you can see we have 1 prefix and 1 suffix. If you hold Alt on your keyboard, you can see also the item level. Certain rolls don't roll until it's a certain item level. But this one, see how it says it adds a magic item with a new random modifier. Magic items can only have 2, so if I was to use this, it won't work because there's no space. It has to be a rare to add more. I'm going to swap for this one, and I'm just going to keep this one in my inventory, and I'm just basically going to sell it. So yeah, we want to get to the next area. So we're going to move. Oh, is that okay? That was the. I don't remember what my hotkeys are for PoE 2 because I actually locked in and played a lot of PoE 1 for the new league. But if you ever want to see the hotkeys, you can also go to the world screen. Okay, so it's U. So if you want to see where you can go to the next area, so we can go from Clearfell. You can see there's Mudburrow, and there's also the other area, which is Grelwood over here. So there's 2 different areas that we can go to. Go. And let's see if there's any other elites. Ideally, you want to try to mainly focus in on killing the elites as they have like a higher chance to actually drop stuff. But we're going to go over here. Clearfell to Grelwood. So some of these might be some newer mechanics. Oh, so this is like one of the. This is kind of like a goblin here. It touches monsters, and what it's going to do is it'll make them stronger, but we're going to get better loot from them. This is kind of showing us how the mechanic works. So this is kind of brand new to me too, but I understand how the mechanic works because I watched one of their like videos on it. Look out. Pick up all the scrolls of wisdoms that you see. You're gonna want all of those. So you want the little wisp to touch the. Ooh, that did so much. That's like ridiculous. Okay, but it's good that you saw that we actually ripped. And the reason why is because some mechanics are genuinely like way overtuned, and everyone complains, and then later they change. But like that thing genuinely just did ridiculous amounts of damage. We also have these boots. Okay, that's telling us to make a town portal. But yeah, like you can see like what really needs to change in Path of Exile, honestly, is like the times where you'll just die because a monster had some sort of like mod that's like way too overtuned. And this one, I'll tell you for sure, keep in mind guys, this game is an early access. You saw us take down the boss and, you know, we might have taken some damage, but like we straight up, at least how it felt like, we got one-shotted. And it could be because there's multiple enemies that will have some sort of mod, and I'll be honest, I have thousands of hours in this game, and sometimes you still just get one-shotted. It's something that, you know, in early access I'm more understanding of it, but man, Path of Exile, they do this a lot, where like the league mechanics is super overtuned and then people complain, and sometimes they make adjustments. But in general, okay, so we'll go ahead and continue. So let's go and get rid of that because I just want to see what these gloves do. Let's go see what these ones do. So we have increased lightning damage. Okay, that's going to be much better than those. And then if we can get boots with specifically movement speed, that's what we want. Oh, we lucked out. Nice. And then if we see any blue items, ideally we pick those up so we can sell them. And then if we want to go back, I have mine set for 0 for Town Portal, but we can use this. We can go into the NPC. And I know I have a bunch of gold right now, like it says 4 million, but I'm not going to spend like 4 million gold. We're going to go ahead and sell all the items that we don't want. And you'll see, let's see how much more it sells for. So it sells for 58, and if I identify it, it goes to 120. So these also cost, but if it's a yellow one, usually you can get more gold for it. And we're just going to go sell our items because we want to get some upgrades here. And if there's any items that are like, I don't know, like 100, we can go buy them. But we can also just buy more of these Scrolls of Wisdom. So we can go ahead and if you hold shift, it will buy a bunch at once, but I'm gonna keep it realistic over here. So if I want to go ahead and purchase these, we can, well, since it's used, but we can just left click and we can just grab one, or again, you can hold shift and you can see how we had 40, but if you want to do it like this, or you could hold control and then left click and it'll also buy it. So here, we just got a couple of these. Just, again, I know I have a lot more gold here, but I'm trying to keep the gameplay realistic, as in I'm not gonna use gear that, like, it wouldn't be, you know, something that you would be able to achieve. Also, if you want to refill your flasks, you could do that, but I'm going to get out of town ASAP because, well, it looks like the game might be having issues, and that's also why I want to play standard, so hopefully it would not have that issue of crashing, because it's like, you know, separate league. I assume more people will be on the thing. I'm going to make both, though, but honestly, like I said before, playing on Dawn is probably ideal. So we want to try to get the waypoints, if we can get them, because we can go back. We'll throw down this. Kind of just move. As far as the skill goes, though, it's like okay. It's not something that I would say is super insane. So we have another skill point available, and we're gonna get we get more damage or attack speed. Like I said, I actually really like to get as much attack speed as possible. If you want to type in any of the tags for like attack speed, this is extra melee damage if you've dealt projectile, and then increased projectile damage if you've dealt melee. Oh, that's kind of cool. And then but what we want is attack speed. Like, that's what I really want to try to get as soon as possible. And we can also get this increased movement speed. I'm going to grab this over here. Let's see. We get stun threshold while parrying. I don't really like that one, because these 3 points, as far as I remember, aren't really like that great. So we can actually grab this node over here, and then maybe later we can go backwards, and then we'll grab this one. This one's a really great one to grab, but I like to get this. So what I plan to do, this one's kind of interesting because it kind of supports getting both. Accuracy is pretty useful if you want to go Amazon, but we're going to go with this one. I probably will do the Ritualist, and then we'll change things up later if we need to. But we're going to go talk to the NPC, and then it's going to tell us to find the red veil. So now we're going to go to that area. So make sure we get this waypoint. This one is actually important because we're going to need to go to the red veil from here. So yeah, Grelwood. Yeah, if you get surrounded, you can try to blind the enemies. It'll help out with survivability. But again, if you die, don't worry about it. That mechanic where it just juiced up the monster to one shot that was like really cheap. But again, it's probably gonna happen a couple times where like there's some new mod that, like, if you don't know the mechanic, it will absolutely delete you. But you can see, like, it wasn't really that big of a deal. We loaded back in. Later, though, in Path of Exile, it will matter for sure if you rip, because you lose out on XP. Like, and I'm talking super far, like level 90 plus. If you die before then, it's not that big of a deal. But later, we're going to get support gems, which will significantly increase our damage. We're going to try to move along here. And I like the tornado because it hits multiple targets. But I don't have like a huge recommendation of like use the tornado or use this one. This one does way more damage, but it has such a huge delay that most of the targets would die if you just spammed your attack. They do definitely want us to play with like multiple skills in the game. Well, usually what it comes down to is people start automating everything. Let's go ahead and go down. Hopefully it'll be somewhere over here. Alright, we got a checkpoint. The red veil, this is what we want. So remember, the next objective is to interact with 3 obelisks, and then there's going to be a boss.
This place bears the wounds of war. Weapon of a storm!
But a lot of times in this game, it's kind of attack, move, attack, move. That should be your go-to. But sometimes in this game, like where we died, I actually didn't check like the replay or anything. but sometimes it feels like you get one-shotted. Like, to me, like, I melted so fast. And you can see, like, on the bosses, we had no problem, but sometimes the smaller monsters, what happens is, like, they'll land a crit, or they'll land a chain of, like, high hits, and if you don't happen to have, you know, the RNG in your favor. Okay, we've got an uncut skill gem level 2, so this is going to be able to upgrade an existing gem, or right now we can get one of these, but that requires us to be level 6, and our current level is 4. I want to save this because this is in the... Oh, this one is says level 3. It also requires us to have a level 3 uncut gem, so we can't really utilize any of these here. Now, I could upgrade a existing gem, which will give us some more damage. So it does, instead of 135 attack damage, it's 149% of our damage. I like this skill. It doesn't increase it by that much. It's like 7% damage over here. So like, actually, well, going by the attack damage number, it's plus 7%, but it's like actually 10% in terms of the actual damage. We already have Whirling Slash. This one didn't really deal that much damage in the first place. As far as Disengage goes, this is what it looks like. I mean, it lets you go back, but I just feel like it's going to be slower. I like the behavior of Twister currently. This one does have this cool thing, though, where if you do explode, or you consume the Frenzy Charge, it gives you another bonus. But I'm going to go ahead and select Twister over here, just so we have this bonus, and then we're going to go ahead and kill the boss over here. Okay, we got another uncut skill gem level 2, cool. If we get uncut level 3, then we'll save it for level 6. And because it actually does pause, we can just go and get more attack speed. And actually, does this pause the game too? Okay, this also pauses the game. I'm going to get this as well. It's up to you if you want to get these sort of skills. We're actually getting a bow to drop. And this game does not have smart loot, by the way. If you've ever played Diablo, Diablo has what's called smart loot. And what that means is, like, it'll drop specifically for your class. But in this game, it can drop for anything. And you can trade these items with other players, too. We'll just attack and move, attack and move. Oh, nice. They're giving us a bunch of uncut skill gems. Hopefully we'll get a support gem pretty soon. And then what do we have? We can get a new random modifier here. So, for example, these boots, I can maybe get another modifier. So I'm going to try to use this on this. Now, these ones, it's fine. You don't need to really save these ones that much. If we can get another mod, that would be good. Now, these ones, I could add a mod to, but I don't feel like it's really worth it. Because we're probably going to replace those anyways. But you can. It's, again, not that big of a deal to, like, kind of just use those earlier on. There are other ones that you don't really want to waste. Like the Exalted Orbs, you can get a really, like, mediocre unique earlier on for the price of, like, one Exalted Orb. So right now, we ideally want to get amulets. Amulets and rings. But yeah, there's like these 3 things that we're going to click on, and we're going to fight a boss, and that will pretty much wrap up our, like, part 1 of our little play session here, but hopefully we want DC in the middle of it, but again, day 1, expect those things to kind of happen. So on the 3rd one that you click, because there's like these obelisks, there's going to be a boss. We're going to have to interact with all of these. Got a nice little wooden buckler. Okay, we can see what stats roll in the buckler. Yeah, the tornado, for me, I'll be honest, I think it's like the better choice. In terms of the skill. I mean, I can sit here and right click. It does more DPS. So for single target DPS, you're probably better off on doing that. Now we're going to have to pick up like a few of these little items here. But we did get a new buckler, so let's see if this is any good. We get increased evasion rating. Cool. So we got 20 evasion rating on that. Nice. A little bit of an upgrade. Another checkpoint. This is like really close. This is Obelisk of Frost. And with certain mechanics, you can like try to set these things up so when you click on them, like if we threw it over here, they would have gotten eliminated. And after we kill the enemies, it's going to spawn in a little like quest item. Again, it's kind of like 3. The last one, though, will be a lot more challenging. About to hit level 6. Very nice.
Aye, I'm hearing voices now.
So we have the other rune item. Let's see. It could be over there, or it could be down here. Let's just kind of rush it. Again, don't feel like you have to kill every single enemy on screen. But if there's any blues or like any of the rare monsters, ideally you want to kill those because they could drop you something good. But as far as my first impressions of the new class, it doesn't seem like it's really like super OP or anything earlier on, but Path of Exile's start is very slow anyways. I dropped absolutely nothing. Alright, coming up with a checkpoint, so it's making me think that it could be over here. Alright, so this is going to be a boss, so we're going to go actually eliminate everything here because I want the highest amount of DPS to just input to the boss. Okay, so we're just going to go throw this on the ground. And then we're going to go see if this is any better. So this is going to give us armor and energy shield. Okay, so we have kind of like some hybrid here. We're going to go swap that if we want to. And then what else did we get? I think that was it. Okay. We could identify the mana flask, but I don't really feel like it's worth it right now. Not that big of a deal. We also have another skill point. We're going to get this extra area effect. We get some dex. Very nice. Indeed. So we're going to go throw this on the ground. Remember, you can only have one of these at a time, I believe. Yeah, even if you can throw multiple. I don't think it expires it faster, does it? No, it needs to actually get the full explosion. So what I plan to do is throw one of these, and then we're going to spam this. Actually, it's probably better if we activate the right click. Hopefully he'll still be able to get hit by that, because if he moves out of the way, you see how much damage some of these things do, but it's basically kind of like in a bigger star pattern. But again, just like most of the bosses, attack once, move, attack once, move. We got stunned, which is great. And how energy shield works is, think of it kind of like if you've ever played Halo, like your shields in Halo. Not get hit by the swords. You can see kind of where they spawn in, and that time we actually dodged it, but looks like we can survive it. So you can dodge roll out of the way. Ideally, though, you always want to try to, if you can, be behind the boss. To be behind the boss. He's spawning a bunch of smaller monsters. We're going to go ahead and roll out of the way. Attack and move. You know what's funny is, like, I always go back to this game and I'm like, the monsters are so overtuned sometimes. Like, this is totally fine because it's a boss, but like on that smaller monster that we died to, you can see the bosses surprisingly do less damage than a random monster that has like a buff, and that's something that sometimes you can't really prevent. Like with this one, like you can see the ability so you can dodge them, but now we have an uncut skill gem level 3, and we just got the item over here. Now this one gives us energy shield, so it could be better, and it depends if it rolls with like some sort of other mods that we want. So we have some extra thorns damage, so that means enemies will also take damage. We got the 3 items. So now that we've got all 3 items, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to town. Oh, there's no town portals. We just activate this for town portal. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to town. If there's anything else that we want. This is a focus. I don't know if you can use a focus on this character. Let's see. Ooh, we don't have the end for that. Oh, but we can use that? That's interesting that you can run that instead. Now this gives us evasion. The other one will give us energy shield. Oh, dang. Unfortunately, the game crashed. Alright, so we portaled back to town. Well, I actually loaded back in. But you just hit the portal and it'll make you go back to town. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use this waypoint over here. And we're going to go back, after we got the obelisk, we're going to go back to the area that we were at, which is Grelwood. And now what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Una. And then we are now going to, it says it wants to go back to the Clearfell encampment. So we're going to go back to the Clearfell encampment after we got the little obelisk thing. that we had acquired. We're going to go and talk to Renly, and he's going to give us these little spikes, and then we're now going to take these spikes, and we're going to go back to the same exact area, the Grelwood, and now we will go talk to Una after we put in these nails that he gives us. We click on all these little seals, and that's going to let us get to the next area, and that's kind of like the next part of our little quest over here, because we already did the obelisk, now we just got the spikes, and then now we're going to release the hooded one, and we're going to go to another area. So we're going to talk to Una, and she's going to tell us we want to go back to Clearfell. So we'll go back to Clearfell. There's a lot of these little steps over here. And then we talk to Una over here. And then we're going to accept the quest, and the quest is now complete. So it says, find the entrance to the Grimtangle in the Grelwood. So there's also like that. This guy's he's gonna wake up eventually, and we're gonna interact with him. But this is where I want to end for part 1 of our little play session here, and we're gonna resume next time, and we're gonna go ahead and do more of the quest. But the first act is kind of like, I would say, where the game feels the longest, because again, you don't have like enough movement speed. You're kind of slower and everything. But as far as it goes, that is the new gameplay of the new class, and that's like part 1 of our play session. And like I said, I'll be uploading more. But we also got this new uncut skill gem, so I want to show you guys a preview of what we're going to be messing around with. So looks like this is like a maimed. Oh, so they get slow. Okay, let's check out lightning spear is what we're going to be using. Oh yeah, dude, it's like Titan's Fury from Diablo 2, man. And then we got Fangs of Frost. Okay. Ooh, ice.
Hitting an enemy after parrying them will cause an explosion.
So they wanted us to parry. I don't want to do the parry.
Dashes to a target enemy and performs a wide sweep, inflicting bleeding on enemies hit. The further you dash, the more damage it deals. Bleeding enemies will take.
Ooh, this could be cool. Disengage and Rake could be a cool combo, but like I gotta go with this. It's just mandatory. So we're gonna go ahead and throw this on. It's gonna be a new skill. Eventually, though, you may want to remove other ones because you'll run out of room. Like there's only so many that you can put in. But man, lightning spear is definitely the skill that I want to make our main build around. But that's again where we're gonna go end off for this part 1. A little play session. We'll be dropping more guides. So if this is your first time here and want like a beginner's like walkthrough guide for the rest of the acts and stuff, I'll be dropping it. And again, I'll link this. It's super helpful. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and next up do the next part of the quest, and we'll be getting some more items and all of the little bonuses as we progress. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on the way out, and if you're new here, subscribe, turn that bell, and you'll definitely see the rest of our play session with the brand new Huntress class in the first like expansion, Dawn of the Hunt. Anyways, catch you Exiles in the next video. Have a good one. Peace out.